We're gonna pump, no, we're gonna dump. We're gonna pump, no, we're gonna dump. We're gonna pump, no, we're gonna dump. We're gonna pump. We're gonna pump, no, we're gonna dump. We're gonna pump, no, we're gonna dump. We're gonna pump, no, we're gonna dump. We're gonna pump. We're gonna pump, no, we're gonna dump.
All right, y'all. We are on this beautiful Wednesday, Wednesday afternoon. God bless everybody in the name of Jesus, Yeshua, the Messiah. Even if you are not religious, I pray you become blessed. As Bitcoin is attempting to do the unthinkable. Right now, guys, Bitcoin is attempting to do the unthinkable. As we are currently getting a little bit of a bounce right from the trade setup, given live in the open live stream, baby. As we took out the low, some nice bullish divergences, and it looks like we're getting a little bit of resistance here at the local golden pocket. But if we reclaim it, man, I think we could pump up towards $90,000. In fact, it looks like we're trying to get the pump right now, baby. Looks like we're trying to get the pump right now. We got to give a major shout out to everybody in the chat, first of all. How's the sound, guys? How's the sound? Let me know how the sound is. Check one, check, check, check. Check one, check two. Check, 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 check. How is it, guys? Bad? Let me check on my end. I'm going to listen to it from my phone. See here. Sounds like crap. Yeah, sounds like garbage. Hang on, garbage. Yeah, sounds like garbage. Hang on. Alright, let's see if this works here. We gotta check this out. How's this? How's that? How's that? How's that? How's that? Let me check. Alright. Sounds like it's working a little bit better. There we go. There we go. Whew, man. Sounding good now. Whew, man. Okay. Oh, man. Alright. That is crazy. That is crazy, guys. Alright. Alright. So, let's check out the Bitcoin price action, man. As usual, guys, if we can get 1,000 likes in the first half hour, we will be giving away 1,000 USDT, baby. All right? We will be giving away 1,000 USDT, baby. So make sure to smash up the likes, everybody. Major shout out to everybody in the chat. First of all, shout out to Timothy Proctor. Shout out to Magamax Cherry. LOL, we got a lifer hater. Get this nerd out of here. Man, get out of here. Get out of here! Shout out to Wes Called. Shout out to OT51151. Shout out to PC Guru NKNYC and good old 51 Vinny C. Need Pump Song ASAP Casper. Shout out to Houston. Shout out to Baru. Shout out to Prom Granter Standerson 9426. Way, way better. Shout out to Crypto Coons holding it on down with the wrench. That's what's up. Shout out to Newbie Crypto. He says a bit better. A bit better. Shout out to Noodle Toffee. That's what I like. The Clip Cult. Another day in paradise. Hang on one second, guys. I gotta make sure the house is not burning down. Give me 1 second. The house might be burning down. Alright, 1 second. Alright, the house is not burning, which is good. That's good. Okay. Alright, our microphone wasn't working today. The house might have been burning down. My goodness. What a crazy day. What a crazy day. Shout out to Samuel S44. When you forget you have candles on the tree. I don't have a tree. Shout out to Golden Pocket Stevo. He says, Jason, ask Lifer to teach you the pump song because that was hot. I'm trying to learn it, all right? I'm trying to learn it. Shout out to Tom Is Lab 8193. Bro, you should check if the house is burning down before you start streaming. Don't worry, guys. The house isn't burning down. I don't know what that smell is. All right. Something smelled a little weird. Must be something going on downstairs. All right. Yeah, crazy stuff, man. Crazy stuff going on. All right. All right. Man, how many people we got watching? 500? That's not so bad. That's not so bad. Jason is a dog and comes up with his own lyrics. I love Sammy. Shout out to my man here, Shogun Crypto. Smells like a hot woman. Must be your walking pad. Yeah, maybe. It does need to be oiled. It's about to croak. All right, it's about to croak. All right. First of all, let's take a look at the good old-fashioned Fear and Greed Index today. On this beautiful day, we are in extreme fear at 24. The same as yesterday, less fear than last week. All right. In the news, Bitcoin price today, December 24, 2025. Bitcoin hovers near 87 as the ETF outflows and holiday thin liquidity keep 90K ceiling intact. All right. Bitcoin cannot reclaim $90,000. Trading is quiet. Trading is range bound. Bitcoin is moving sideways, basically doing nothing. Bullish divergences, not giving us much. Bearish divergences, not giving us much. ETF outflows are in effect. Money is leaving Bitcoin ETFs, adding to sell pressure, making it harder for Bitcoin to rally right now, even though we have some pretty bullish divergences, and we're coming to some very key areas of support. Macro markets are mixed. Stocks are pumping, baby. Gold is pumping, but Bitcoin has not joined into the rally. So what's very interesting here is the fact that although we are seeing some of these, outflows and crypto stalling in the midst of a macro market pump, let us not forget the context right now of the market. All right, the context is this. We have come down to a very important zone of support, the Fibonacci 786-886 zone, right around here. And we have gotten a bounce from the level, all right? We've gotten a bounce from this very key support. And then if we go even more locally, if we take a fib from the low to the high, we are bouncing from the zone between the golden pocket and the 786 once again. All right, so we are bouncing from support. And if we even pull another fib from the low that we made here on Monday, the 15th of December, to the high, you can see that we're currently bouncing from the Fibonacci golden pocket once again. Of course, this is happening in the context of the weekly market cipher B printing a bottom, confirming actually a bottom back here on the week of December 8th, 2025. You can see that every single time in history for Bitcoin that we confirm a big bottom on the weekly, it means the bottom is either in or the bottom is very, very near to being in. All right, there's really never been a time where we printed a green dot on the weekly where we haven't had significant upside in the very near future. Even in instances where the price makes another low. Like I want to bring up this, for example. We printed and confirmed a green dot right over here on Market Cipher B. We did get a drop to the downside, but it was a fake out. All right, other than that, we print the bottom and the bottom is in. Right, we print the bottom right here, the bottom was in. We print the bottom right over here, the bottom is in. We print the bottom right here, the bottom was in. Even in the bear market, guys. Over here, the bear market, we print the green dot, the low was in. And of course, we played a game of red dot, green dot, but from the confirmation of that first green dot, we did rally up from the close of that about 15%, and from the low, we rallied about 43%. So we are expecting a rally here. Why? Because every single time this happens, we get a move to the upside. Now, something else we need to consider. Is this going to bring us a new all-time high, or is it just going to be a lower high? Well, we have to recognize the fact that the trend is broken. All right, the uptrend is indeed broken. We take it from the low of November 2022. You can see that we have lost the trend line. All right. So if you've been following the channel, you know that I'm expecting a rally to the upside at the very least around 96, 97,000. At the very most, 130,000. Why 130,000? Well, because if you take a look at this trend line, if we rally up and we get a nice little rally in the month of January leading up to the beginning of February, that's going to bring us to a new all-time high, but that's going to allow us to back test the trend line before another drop to the downside. All right. So we might make a lower high. We might come up and just back test like this, right? The nice support resistance flip here, or we could make a new higher high. Now, if we make a higher high, I'm still going to be bearish. Why am I still going to be bearish? Well, because of the 2-month time frame, guys. We cannot ignore the fact that the 2-month time frame is telling us that the top is in. We've confirmed a 2-month bearish divergence. Historically, that has been the top, and we need like 9 months of sideways and down before we can get another big leg to the upside. All right. Monthly market cipher B. We have confirmed momentum below the 60 line. Historically speaking, that means we need 9 months of sideways and down before we get another face melting move to the upside. Weekly time frame. We turn the chart upside down. All right, let's invert the chart. What does this look like right here? What does this look like? Well, to me, honestly, this looks like a pretty bullish chart, right? We've seen really bullish divergences as the price is coming down, making these lows, right? Again, remember, this is upside down Bitcoin chart here, right? This is upside down Bitcoin chart. So if we're going to go ahead and take a look at this, right? Let's just take a look at this here. If this was any other chart and we saw, wow, would you look at that? We are breaking out of this trend line that we've been respecting since 2022. We have insanely bullish divergences on our weekly time frame. Money flow is getting higher. All right, we're clearly breaking out of this downtrend that we had here on Market Cipher B. Right, we connect these highs. Momentum is high. Momentum's real high. What would we expect here? Well, we're printing a top. We would expect a back test. And then we expect more continuation. All right, that's how this looks. It looks like the next trigger wave that we're going to get here to the bottom is going to be another big move, right? This next trigger wave we print is going to be another big move. So we flip the chart back to normal. And what do you know? If we do make a higher high by back testing the trend line, we're going to have a very bearish trigger wave on the weekly time frame. So we are looking for a rally the next few months. But personally, I just don't think we have enough steam to go straight into bull market again until later on in 2026, when I do believe we will see a bit of a reversal. A little bit of a reversal. Okay, now, I'm in a long trade. I'm in another long trade. I'm in a short as well from the golden pocket, mostly to protect against my long. So here's the thing, guys. I'm currently in about 250,000, $250,000 worth of longs right now, and I'm only in one short trade with $36,000. So I'm hedging against these long trades. I'm in $250,000 worth of longs right now. By the way, this entry was given in real time in the Casper crew, JasonCasperTrading.com. This trade, also the long, I'm in right now, given in real time this morning in the New York Open VIP live stream. We were looking at the level. I told everybody I am going long, baby. And I did tell everybody when I'm going to lock in my TP1 and let the rest sizzle. And if you want to join the community, you can go to JasonCasperTrading.com. Click the link to join. Also, if you want to trade Bitcoin, altcoins, and all different kinds of coins, KCEX, link in the description, lowest fees. WEEX, link in the description, great fees. I'm also trading on BLOFIN and ZoomX. ZoomX, good old ZoomX, is basically like Bybit, but you don't need to KYC. Make sure to check it out. And if you know how to trade, but you don't have capital, check out Klein funding. 15-25% discounts on these funded accounts. You can trade with a $50,000 account for about $1,000 with my discount. You don't even have to pass a test. If you do want to pass a test, you can trade with a $200,000 account for less than $500. Isn't that crazy? That is pretty crazy. All right. So that's what we would expect there on the high time frame with Bitcoin. Now, some other things to keep our eyes on in the news. Bitcoin nears breakout from the range as options expiry looms. A year-end options expiry for Bitcoin is suppressing volatility just as macro and risk asset positioning turns supportive for higher prices. This fits my narrative, all right? This fits my narrative. Now, when it comes to research, fundamental, anything in life, you always want to find things that line up perfectly with your own preconceived notions and narratives, right? Confirmation bias is the way to go in life, all right? Now, maybe that was serious, maybe it wasn't, but what is serious is the fact that we are seeing options contracts expire very soon at the year end. And dealers and traders, what they tend to do is they tend to hedge and suppress large price movements so that they can get out in profit or not big of a loss, which makes Bitcoin stay stuck in ranges instead of breaking up or down. So right now, a lot of people are watching very closely because once the options expire, I don't know if it's going to happen. I don't think it happens this week. I don't know if it happens next week. It happens in December. Bitcoin could finally break out of the range, possibly above $90,000 if the bulls take over, or of course they're saying back down to 85 if the bears take over. Now here's the thing. We're looking at the weekly time frame here, right? And what's more probable right now? The probabilities, in my opinion, are that the bulls take over. Even if, guys, we come back down to this low, right? I am still going to be remaining locally bullish. I'm going to be looking for that first relief rally, right, of the bear market, whether it be a lower high or even a higher high for another fake out. You cannot print a big bottom on the weekly like this and not expect a move up soon, right? It's very, very, very unlikely that this range is going to immediately just break to the downside. It might appear like it is. We might have a fake out very similar to what we had over here, right? We might have another grind to the downside and people feeling scared. But I don't think we're actually going to see this range break down with the target. Technically speaking, if we're going to get technical here, this is a giant bear flag, all right, with our target going to be around the mid 50s to mid 60s, right? We're not going to see that, I don't think. Why do I not think? Because you can't have bottomed out weeklies like this and expect straight down. I mean, look, anything's possible. But when it comes to trading, we have to go, what are the probabilities? And right now, there's 100% probability based on historic data that we're not going to go straight down, right? We might chop in the range for a while. This range might still hang on. But once this range breaks, I expect to break to the upside with my most bearish target to the upside being like 97K, the back test of this guy right here. My next target would be around 107, 108, the back test of these guys right here, this guy right here, and this support right here. And then my moonshot target would be the 1.786 Fibonacci extension, which is going to come in around $130,000. All right. That's kind of what I'm hoping and praying, hoping and praying. And of course, it is December 24th. We can expect low volatility, right? Tonight's the night where millions of Americans lie to their children and tell them that a creepy man dressed in red velvet coming down the chimney to eat cookies and give you toys is not creepy in any way, but that's to be celebrated and hoped for, right? Strange culture we live in, right? But probably low volatility today, low volatility tomorrow. Maybe when the week picks up again after the holiday, we will have that break to the upside. All right. So let's go into the 4-hour time frame here on Bitcoin, because there is also a bullish scenario brewing that we saw brewing yesterday. And guys, if you want to know how the trade ended up from yesterday, all right, I'll show you. I'll show you everything if I can. All right. So you guys saw the long I was in yesterday. All right, basically, guys, what happened from that long yesterday is it closed out for about a $150 loss. All right, I was long from this area here yesterday. Actually, yeah, from this area yesterday. You guys saw it. I held it up. I held it down. I held it up. I held it down. I closed in loss. All right, why did I let that trade close out in a loss? Well, I'll explain why. It's because I am looking to catch the big move to the upside right now. I'm fishing for that big move. All right, and so I think what did I have, like $50,000 in the trade? I forget what I had, but I want to be in some decent size for this move up, right? And so right now I'm currently in $100,000 long over here, already locked in 1,000. Another 50K over here, already locked in 400, and I'm still holding that swing long from the 15th of December, locked in about 2,500, but another 100 grand on the position here. And the reason why I'm letting these trades ride, even though it's low volatility, even though there's bearish sentiment out there, is because of this. All right, we have ourselves the bottom with some bullish divergence. All right, then we have the back test of the Fibonacci golden pocket that we did on Monday, the 15th of December. And as we're coming into the golden pocket, what do we have? We have a bullish divergence. All right, then we get a little bit of a bounce, and we're seeing the 4-hour money flow come up, and we're seeing right now a potential trigger wave form on the 4-hour. This is a bullish continuation pattern. When you have a bullish divergence at a low, money flow continues to get up, and then you print that next trigger wave. Oftentimes, yeah, you could have a banana, you could have an apple, but do I even have internet right now? I might not even have internet right now. Am I even streaming right now? This is the real question. Is the stream even on right now? Let's see. Yeah, we're on. That's good. Yeah, so look, we're coming down right now, and we're bouncing from a local Fibonacci golden pocket with this trigger wave, right? This continuation pattern that would make me expect that we do break out of $90,000, come back towards probably around the $96,000, $97,000 area. So a lot of things right now are pointing bullish. And so this is why I'm letting these trades simmer. I'm letting them simmer, all right? Obviously with good risk management, like that's the thing, right? I'm not letting myself get wrecked. I'm taking some profits. I'm not going all in, baby, you know? Being responsible. I'm being responsible, but all the signs right now, from the weekly, all the way down to our 4-hour, even all the way down to our 24-minute. You know, we have seen this morning, as we came down again to this area, we have seen bullish divergence, like quite bullish divergence on our 24-minute, right? So at some point, I feel like we could get that pop to the upside. And as long as we're not losing the 786, which is around 85.5, give or take, there's that real big chance. There's that big chance that we could get the push to the upside, all right? Now, we're struggling right now. We're taking a look at the order flow. You can see I've opened up a short against the longs. Let's check out Market Monkey. Let's check out the order flow here. All right, let's check out the order flow. Shout out to Anthony Lee Crypto in the chat. What is going on, my bro? God bless you, man. Hope you and your family have a wonderful holiday if you celebrate. All right, let's see. The higher the price goes, we need money to move it up, and you need a lot. Okay, so right now, let's see what's happening here locally. Oh. So sad, guys. So sad. We have a little bit of bearish CBD forming here. We've got a little bit of bearish CBD forming here. We've got some longs longing the top. Yeah, look at that. 1.6 million longs along the top. Another 1 million longs along the yeah, they're long in the top. We got a little bit of bearish CBD forming locally right here. All right, this could be our ticket, our ticket back down. All right, this could be our ticket back down. So let's see here. Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and crap. I'm gonna show my stop losses. Never a good idea. I'm going to go ahead and set a short TP on the long getting stopped out there. Or I'm going to hold the long. Those are my two options. Come on, CBD. I'm rooting for the long side. My kids always ask, what do they ask me? Who am I cheering for? The purple or the blue? Oh, no, what am I betting on? I forget what they tell me. Man, what a bad father I am. I don't... I'm cheering for the blue right now. Alright? I'm cheering for the blue right now, guys. Alright? If this short gets stopped out, it's going to be like a $300 loss. And that's totally okay with me, considering the fact that I've got $250,000 long. And I'm really hoping that this 4-hour trigger wave confirms. It's been trying for a long time to confirm, guys. This thing has printed and reprinted many times. Right? I even think it might have even started to print on this candle right here back yesterday. Right? So, we're not out of the woods. We still have 2 hours. If we come down, this is not going to be here. But eventually, the thing prints, alright? Eventually, the dang thing prints, if you know what I mean. Let's see. Shout out to Larry3170. May God bless you, Larry. May the Lord bless you. I do sincerely pray from the bottom of my heart that the Lord bless you, my friend. In Jesus' name. Major shout out to Fresh Kool-Aid. Major shout out to NYC007J. Shout out to John Davis. God bless you, my man. Shout out to Parit Sharma. God bless you as well. Alright, so Dran Brady Kovacs. 2 days from now, and Bitcoin will get a breakout from this range. First move will be the false move. Yeah, I could see that as well. Right, going straight to Chop City. Do I have that template available in Market Monkey? This is not even, I mean, I guess I could share it. It's just called J1. Here's the thing about my Market Monkey templates. You know, I love Market Monkey, but I don't have anything fancy on here, guys. I do have a link in the description. I think there's a discount if you use the link. Not 100% sure. But, yeah, I just have CBD, open interest. I have delta and volume. That's it. That's it. Right? I've got a little bit of a heat map here as well. But it's really nothing fancy. It's really nothing fancy at all. I'm a bare bones guy when it comes to the order flow, right? I'm a real bare bones guy when it comes to the order flow. Real bare bones. Shout out to Shep3333. Shout out to Luciano. He says you're a good father, man. The fact that you don't tell your kids about the red game is a good thing. Shout out to Flippa Frank. In the chat. Look, guys, if you celebrate Christmas, have a Merry Christmas with you and your families. I do pray, if you celebrate, that you are very blessed. And I also pray that if you celebrate the birth of the Messiah on the 25th of December, that you focus on Him, all right? Not on all the other strange things that tend to go along with that celebration, all right? Shout out to Epstein. Okay, it's the 26th that will have the options expiry. So yeah, okay, so that's probably when we're gonna break out, and I'm feeling the break to the upside, guys. I'm feeling the break to the upside. That's what I'm feeling. Let's take a quick look at Ethereum. All right, Ethereum in the same position right now as Bitcoin, in a sense that we're trying to confirm this green dot trigger wave on the 4-hour with money flow increasing. All right, same as Bitcoin, ETH has come down to bounce from a very key support around 2600, the macro golden pocket from the low in June. All right, the Felix level. You guys remember our man Felix who came in here? I guess, when did Felix come around? October. He said, I was talking about how the next level for Bitcoin is going to be the golden pocket from that low. I guess it was this low. I guess it was the low from April. And I said, yeah, 2800. He says, there's no way ETH will go down to 2800. The Felix level. I told him, Felix, because you said that, now it's going to happen no matter what. So because of Felix's comment in the chat, we came down to the golden pocket. We're getting a bounce, making a high. We're getting a higher low from the 786, a key level. And also notice we have a bullish divergence, very nice, on the low, right? And then we have now anchor trigger forming as we come here. So we're printing a continuation pattern. If Bitcoin can break this range, ETH can easily go to 4,000. I know it seems crazy right now because we have seen such low volatility and people forget what's possible, all right? People forget what is possible, especially with ETH, all right? ETH can get big moves very quick. And we've had such low volatility here on ETH, but if Bitcoin is reclaiming 96, it is going to be so easy for ETH to squeeze these highs, this high, and even this high and come up to $4,000. The historic level on the chart, all right? Very historic. Is or his? I don't know. Like if you're a Brit, you might say historic. Like you say hello, hello, hello. If you're British and you speak in Spanish, hello, mi amigo. Como estos, amigo? Hello. Hello, amigo. Hello, madre. E padre. Now, yeah, I don't think that's too crazy, especially in the context of ETH looking like she really wants to outperform Bitcoin. So we go to the ETH Bitcoin pair, right? We go ahead, we turn it on, and what do we see? Let's go to the weekly here. Red dot, green dot, but I still think this market structure is very bullish, having come down to the bottom of the macro range. Switching market structure. We have not seen anything like this market structure here since 2019 of ETH outperforming Bitcoin. And look at the money flow. And yeah, I think even if we play a game of red dot, green dot here, the bottom here is very near. All right. And then we could really see Ethereum outperform Bitcoin by quite some bit. All right. Ethereum outperform Bitcoin by quite some bit. Let me turn off my dang stop losses here. Man, it doesn't matter because they're showing here anyway. I always hate to show my stop losses. You know, I hate to show the stops. I hate to show the stops. You guys know what I mean? Let's see who else we got in the chat right now. Major shout out to Voltron Guns. Let's see. Lasers go pew pew. Shout out to you. Shout out to Fit in Crypto. Lost my mom on the 15th. I've been very focused on what should be not the glamour and delusion we were raised in. Well, I'm so sorry to hear about your loss, Fit in Crypto. But I can understand that it almost forces you to focus on what's important in life. You know, when we're confronted with the mortality of ourselves and our families, it really does, even though it sucks, it forces us to get closer to what's really important, and that's our relationship with God and our relationship with other humans. It forces you to seek things that are eternal and not things that are temporal. I've been going through a lot of things along those lines lately that have forced me to focus on the eternal things and seek the Lord more. I've been confronted with many things that have just really made me realize, and of course you always realize this, but it's easy to live feeling like life is not short. Life is so short. Life is so short. And if you're not seeking a relationship with your creator, then everything you're doing here is completely pointless. Shout out to my man Spicy Noodle. Shout out to Alex and Dar Petrovic, who says, God bless everyone here. All right, Bitcoin's starting to take a dump, baby. Bitcoin's starting to take a dump. Dang. You know, dang is all I can say. Dang is all I can say. All right. Can I take a look at Sol, and do I think the bottom is in? XRP, please, please, please. Sol, XRP. I stopped walking for the speech. Yeah. You know, sometimes you gotta stop walking for a speech. You know? So yeah, let's check out Sol and XRP while we are. We'll check out Sol and XRP. So in general, this is an idea for XRP, for Sol, assuming that the low is in. Do I think the low is in for Sol? It does not look nearly as good as Bitcoin and ETH does. I'll tell you. It does not look nearly as good as Bitcoin and ETH does. The things I don't like about it are the weekly market cipher B. All right, it's hesitant to confirm the bottom. It looks like we still have a week or two. Things could change if we get a big pump. Other things I don't like about it, we are potentially going to close the weekly candle once again below value area low. So that's not the best look. All right, essentially, guys, for Sol, if we want to see pumping, we need to hold this box, which is our historic support coming back to here. All right. If we start to lose that, that's really not a good look. But here's what I will say. If we see Bitcoin break out of the range, and if we see ETH start to rally and continue in the uptrend, then Sol is also going to rally, right? It's also going to rally, and it's most likely going to reverse and reclaim 150, which opens up the door for 192. All right, 192 is also, if we pull the fib, high to low, it's right around our Fibonacci golden pocket. That's coming in at 198, right? So, yes, I do think Sol could rally from here. I even think Sol has potential to, if Ethereum rallies to 4,000, I think Sol could rally to 190-ish. We have this trend line right here. You know, we're forming this triangle, so to speak, right? I think we could continue to respect this for a little bit. Here's a more bullish scenario for Sol. If we hang out here for longer, and this momentum wave drops now below the one that we had back here, then that is classified as a hidden bullish divergence, which would then look much, much nicer for a move to the upside and potentially even breaking out of this area to go for that high again, right? But again, I have to say this. I'm still in the camp that the bear market is here. And I'm still in the camp that we need a few months of sideways and down before we see big rallies. All right, so I'm not expecting big rallies until the second half of 2026, right? So let's check out XRP. So XRP, again, we are hesitant with the weekly here. We have major support for XRP at $1.64. This is major support resistance flip. It was resistance in 2021 April. Support now in April 2025. October 10th wick. If we don't include October 10th wick, that is now going to be major support. So here's how I look at it. You know, with all these coins, one thing we need to keep in mind is this move down is not really very nice looking for a lot of these altcoins. And what I mean by that is it doesn't look like an impulse, right? It doesn't have the characteristic of a new trend forming, right? If we go to Bitcoin, for example, right? Bitcoin has an impulse, right? Bitcoin very clearly got an impulse to the downside. We look at coins like Solana. Solana, you could say maybe has an impulse, but not as much. When we look at XRP, definitely this is not an impulse to the downside, right? This is not. This is a slow, grindy kind of choppy channel. And what that does is it creates liquidity above these levels. So when you break the trend line, that's why breakouts can be so effective, because what happens is you stop out all the people shorting, and when you trigger their stop losses, it pushes the price up higher. So again, I'm going to have to say, we look at Bitcoin leading the way, Ethereum second in command, so to speak. If those rally, then it will probably push XRP up with it, and XRP could really get a big squeeze here, just like ETH, right? Look at this thing on ETH. This is the most disgusting looking non-impulsive move to the downside I've ever seen, right? It's very easy to be squeezy when you see stuff like this, all right? It's very easy to be squeezy. But I think really for me, the big metric is going to be Bitcoin I believe Bitcoin is going to rally. And because I believe Bitcoin is going to rally, I have to say I believe the altcoins will rally as well. And because ETH looks like it's set to outperform Bitcoin, it makes me think we'll see a lot of alts outperform Bitcoin, right? Let's take a quick look at XRP versus Bitcoin to see how that looks. Wow. Talk about a wick. So funny. When XRP is dumping, where does everyone go? Right back into Bitcoin. Isn't that funny? Isn't that funny? All right, so we're forming a bit of a flag here. It's pretty ambiguous, I'll be honest. It does look pretty ambiguous here on our weekly. It's a symmetrical triangle. It could go either way. You could make the case that we have anchor trigger forming here. Look at this very strange momentum wave that Marcus Cypher B was forced to print on October 10th. Look at this. We basically, it was so separated. Like in the middle of that wick, it looked like we had like years of more downside, but then it just clips right away and we get that green dot. Yeah, it's hard to say, but look, if we see Bitcoin break out and ETH rallies, we're going to see the alts rally too, right? It's going to be a big rally. I think it depends on the coin. I think right now ETH is looking really nice. Let's check out Sol versus Bitcoin. All right, so Sol is losing the 786, but let's put on our 886 here. I would say this about Sol. So we are forming a potential rounded bottom here, right? We have our low. We have our lower low. We have our first higher high. And so really, we should be looking for continuation here, honestly, just based on this pattern alone, right? Just based on this pattern alone, we should be looking for a higher low. When we take a look at the divergences, we do see bullish div as we come down to this zone right here and we make our low. We're even starting to see bullish div forming here slightly as we come into this key zone. So I do think it is setting us up for a Solana rally. Again, this is Solana versus Bitcoin, but we're bullish on Bitcoin locally because of the weekly, expecting some upside. And so therefore, when I say we, I really mean me. So therefore, when I look at this chart, I'm going to interpret it through the lens of my feelings of Bitcoin and ETH and say, although if I was only using this chart alone, it would be more unclear. I would lean more towards a bullish scenario to see Solana outperform Bitcoin, which means probably we could see the USDT pair pump, right? If Bitcoin's going to go up in price back towards 100,000, you know, and alts are outperforming Bitcoin, then yeah, they have to pump against USDT as well. A Jet in holders. Jet Inc. holders. How can I say things are looking nice while also being in a bear market? Well, how can I be long and short at the same time? All right. You have to learn how to divide your bias into multiple time frame outlooks. All right. So on the 2-month chart, I'm bearish. Right? But on the weekly chart, I'm bullish. Now, price never goes straight up or straight down. Right? Price never goes straight up or straight down. It never goes straight up or straight down. All right? So, here we are on Bitcoin. All right? We've already gotten a big move to the downside. What do you think is going to happen next? Just more down? Probably not, right? Probably not. Usually what happens in a trend is, let's take a look at the bull market, for example. We come up a lot and down a little, and 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 up a lot. And now we've broken the trend line, okay? We've got some really high time frame bearish signs, making me think we're heading into a trend reversal. So guess what? We've just come down more percentage-wise than we have ever since the last bear market, right? 36%. So I would assume now we're going to start down a lot, up a little, down a lot, up a little until we bottom out, and then we go back into up a lot, down a little, right? And so you can be in a swing trade from the exact top, given in real time in the Casper Crew VIP Discord, and you can be in a long trade from 86,553 looking for upside, set up given in real time in the Casper Crew VIP Discord. And you can be long from the Golden Pocket on Monday, set up given in real time in the Casper Crew VIP Discord. Because even though you're macro bearish, you understand that we need to have some relief, and we're getting some big bottoms on the weekly. And so you would say, you know what? Because there's a 100% probability based on past signals. Now, it's never 100% ever, but if we're going to deal with the data we have, there's never been a time in Bitcoin's history where the weekly green dot, that oversold, hasn't resulted in weeks to the upside. All right, weeks to the upside. So, therefore, I should be looking for some upside, right? Maybe we come up to $110,000 Fibonacci Golden Pocket, right? So, I'm looking for that move up to here, 30%, and then I can stay bearish, and I can add to a short trade or open a new short trade from here to come target now below 75,000, right? And then if you're day trading or you're scalping, I mean, there's a million trades you could take. I mean, if one person could be long and one person could be short at the same time, both could be right and both could be profitable, right? Both could be right and both could be profitable. Like, for example, let's say that we pump from here, right? This is just an example. All right, the guy who longed this is in his long trade. Meanwhile, trader 2 shorted here, all right? Now trader 2 is short. Price is back down here right now. Trader 2 is short. He's in profit. He had a winning trade. Trader 1 is long. He's still in profit in a winning trade. All right? They're in opposite positions. They're both right. They're both in profit. Trader 2 takes profit from his short around here. Enough to be a winning trade. Trader 1 took some profit on his long around here. Okay? They both had successful trades. You talk to them, are you long or short? They literally give you opposite answers. They're both profitable. Because it's about the outlook, it's about the time frame, it's about all these different factors that you need to consider. If you can get your mindset to the point where you can trade multiple scenarios at the same time and separate your local bullish position from your more high time frame bearish position, and then even go lower. Let's say you're super bearish on the high time frame, you're short swing. Bullish on the medium time frame, you're long swing. All right? Throw those both away. Now we go even lower and you're bearish, so you're taking a short. And then you go even lower and you see a scalp long. Now you're in 4 positions. They're all against each other, but if you can separate your mindset and you understand the time frame you're trading, you can actually make money on all those trades. All right? If you want to learn how to do such a thing, check out the free 99, baby, the free trading course on Jason Casper's YouTube channel. Let's head on over. Go to playlists. All right. Go to the free course. Check it out. Check out the session 16, how to manage open trades. And in this, I'll walk you through exactly how you can do what I just explained, right? You could be in shorts, longs, you could be bullish and bearish at the same time, all right? Sounds crazy, I know. Sounds crazy, I know. What would be a silver short? When would a silver short be appropriate? I am not a silver guy, okay? I'm not a silver trader, I should say. I am a silver guy. I'm a big-time silver holder, right? I'm into silver, but I've never traded silver. I would say this about silver. We have a target, technical target of this bullish cup and handle of around $100 per ounce of silver. That's obviously going to be a key psychological level as well. This is the year time frame right now. All right. This cup and handle goes back to 1980. We're breaking this trend line since 1980. We're talking a 45-year trend line here. I would not recommend shorting silver. That's basically like, well, I'm not going to say it. If I was going to short silver, for a big short, I would be very interested in around $100 psychological. But look, I am not a trader of silver. All right. We don't really have, like, this is in price discovery mode. The only other thing we could do is pull some Fibonacci extensions here, right? Let's go ahead and put away all these drawings and pull some Fibonacci extensions. Man, let's take it from... We'll take it from the low in the 90s. Why not? That's the last, like, major low. To the high in 1980. I'm sorry, in 2011. To the low. We're at the 1.272 right now. So, we're coming to fib resistance right now. We got the 1.618. So, the 2-to-1 extension is right around $100. All right, the 2-to-1 extension is right around $100. Let's go to our 2-day here. So, our 1-to-1 fib extension gave us a little of a doji on the 2-day. Let's go to the daily. Currently, we're tapping into the 1.272 right now. It did give us maybe a little bit of a pullback there. I mean, these are the only resistance levels we have, technically, right? Not fundamentally. But then our 2-to-1 Fibonacci is going to be right around $100 per ounce. And that, you have to think, when it comes to silver, that's going to be a key psychological level. Because silver's never been $100 an ounce before. Right? But I would be careful shorting silver. I would stack silver. You know, silver is money. Silver is biblical money. That's how you say money in Hebrew. You say silver, kesef. Right? So biblically speaking, silver is money, right? So I wouldn't be shorting silver to earn dollars. I'd honestly be trading some dollars to have some silver, which historically has been money. But I know you're asking about shorting, so. But look, we come off the gold standard in 1971 where the dollar is no longer tethered to precious metals, and we get a big rally on silver. We get some suppression here. Even still, the price of silver higher than what it should be if the dollar was still based on gold. This is just showing you inflation, devaluing of the dollar. Even at the lows of silver here, $4 an ounce. You know, it's still showing you inflation. The dollar's being devalued, and then we just keep getting these. It's almost like a fractal, actually. Right? This little thing here could be a cup and handle if you consider that. But yeah, very interesting with silver and gold too. I mean, man, look at gold. That is crazy. Pushing $4,500 an ounce on gold. Crazy, crazy. Absolutely crazy. Santa's dumping coal. Exit your trades now. LOL. Can I please give analysis of Binance Coin? Sure. Sure. Yeah, we'll take a look at BNB. All right. Shout out to Small Arc Zion. He says, Yeshua. Yeshua. All praises to Yeshua. Amen. Let's check out Binance Coin. We'll go down to the weekly. We'll get off the yearly. Okay, so Binance Coin is coming back to key support. So the major support now in Binance Coin, we've just broken out of this massive ascending triangle, right? It's pretty massive. We've been doing it since, give or take, depending how you want to draw it, 2023. I mean, you could fudge it a little bit, say, we've been doing it all this time, right? This is log scale, by the way. Take it off log, and it looks a little bit different, of course. But yeah, you could see this is going to be our support. We're coming down into that zone right now. So let's try and find some confluences here. By the way, guys, all right, guys, the code for today, if you want to get eggs in the Discord, is going to be this. All right, it's going to be this. I think it's apropos for the egg code. All right, this is the egg code on your screen right here. If you don't know, eggs in the Discord, free and paid Discord, can be used to enter games to win cash prizes. All right, so join the Discord. You could join the Jason Casper VIP Discord, where we give the trade setups and all that, or just the normal Discord. All right, so let's see. Let's pull some volume here. All right, nothing too crazy there. Let's pull the volume of this. Get a little fib action. A little fib action going, if you know what I mean. Okay, so we haven't even hit the golden pocket yet. I would say for me, when it comes to altcoins, the level that we usually backtest the most often is the 786-886 fib, which would put us right between the POC and the value area low. I have to say I like that level quite a bit. Let's go ahead and pull the fib from the low here. I do like that quite a bit. That's going to be between the prices of 501 and 614 for a beautiful back test, like a nice deep back test right there of this key zone. We got the high volume node of the range, the value area low of the range. That would be a place I would be quite interested. Of course, we could always back test, 730, 733, right around here at the value area high. Currently, we're trying to find some support on the wick, but I find like on these big time frames like this, these multi-year levels, it's very rare you just back test the wick. Sometimes it happens, but I would love a deeper move back down to hit the volume node of this area. Overall, Binance Coin is bullish because it's Binance. Binance making moves, baby. Binance making moves, baby. Has Bitcoin bottomed? Well, you could watch the whole beginning of the stream and every stream I've done since like November 21st to find out my view on that. We've done a month and 3 days of me giving my view on Bitcoin. Hopium Copium says Binance is trolling users, making them exit liquidity. Yeah, that very well may be the case. But still, Binance is not going away. Binance is not going away. So even if they're scamming their users for exit liquidity, that means the value of their token will probably continue to rise. We'll have to see. I would love a deeper back test of this to look for a bounce. I'm not bearish on Binance Coin. If we don't hold this, though, there's no reason why we can't go back down to the bottom of the range. right? So essentially, we would need to see the bounce actually happen. If we don't see the bounce happen, we could come all the way back down to the bottom of the range, which would be crazy. Well, first we'd look for the bottom of the lower range here, like 400. But I think we could get a bounce from there. Honestly, it's the biggest cryptocurrency exchange in the world. You know? And when they do well, their token's going to do well. Been pretty much, you know, 2022 was a bad year for Binance token, but I say it did pretty well compared to a lot of others. How's Doge looking? Doge has not been looking very well lately, to be honest with you. Scalp trade tips: take profits, wait for your confirmations, don't get greedy. Don't get greedy, wait for confirmations, and take profits. Right? What are my plans for Christmas? I have no plans. I'm going to do just a normal old day for me. I'm not doing anything. I'm going to live stream probably. I'll be live tomorrow, so if you guys are around, put me on your smart TV at your grandpa's house. I'll do the pump song for your grandfather. You know? Yeah, let's see if Bitcoin can pump, man. Let's see if this thing can pump. Shout out to Lou Minosna, who says, you will join for the stream. Cool, man. At least I'll have one viewer. At least I'll have one viewer. How to join the free Discord? I think there should be a link in the description here. How do I even see the description? YouTube changed their stuff, so I don't know. I don't know how to look at the description, but I think there should be a link in the description. There should be a link in the description. But, alright guys, I do have to head out, alright? So if you celebrate, have a Merry Christmas. If not, have a wonderful evening. And Lord willing, I will see you guys tomorrow. God bless everybody. In the name of Jesus, Yeshua the Messiah, I pray from the bottom of my heart that each and every one of you are super blessed in many ways. And I will see you later. Peace!